Good evening. Welcome to Ubuntu channel. My name is CHAZA right here. I'll be your host on this program called Meet Your Leaders. And tonight we'll be joined by Dr. Samuel Mbumba, Executive Director, Moreta Zambia. And tonight we'll actually be looking at professionalism in the teaching fraternity. I hope you've had, your day nice and your week is progressing well. It is definitely nice to be here, and it's good to have you right here on our Ubuntu channel. I must believe we shall get to have, a nice time together, and I am hopeful that my co-host will be joining us. Welcome to the program.
Yes, thank you very much. And good evening, viewers. Good evening, the listeners. And good evening, Ubuntu Studio.
It is definitely a good thing to have you right here on our Ubuntu channel.
Thank you very much.
Okay, I don't know if, how comfortable you are. Do you want to be called Dr. Sam, Dr. Sam, or Dr. Mbumba?
Whichever. Doc is by qualification. Mr. is by birth of being male. And so both apply. So it's up to you.
Beautiful. I like, your flexibility, and I took it for granted. A friend of mine, who is also a doc, upon, being conferred with, the title doc, he strictly indicated whenever you say Mr. that no, I'm no longer Mr. Address me as doc. So I'm very particular.
No. I'll continue with any qualification. I shall continue to be a male.
Pretty good thing to know. And first things first, Doc would like to find out, who you are, first of all, before we get to delve into the day. To know who is Dr. Samuel Mbumba in terms of, both family background, education background, and also the profession.
Okay, thank you very much. Dr. Mbumba is a male by profession of birth. I come from a missionary family where my parents were missionaries in the CMML church. They are currently buried at the same church and not at the graveyard. I am the last born of that family. We are 4 in the family. And I went to primary school in that same area in Manyinga, Kabompo, Northwestern Province. I graduated my grade 12 at Zambezi Boarding Secondary School, where I was the school head boy. I went to University of Zambia, where I pursued my BA, and then that's my first degree. I was with the Rockview University. I've been with the University of Theocracy until I attained my PhD in conflict resolution and peace. So this is a son of the soil. He's married with 4 children, 2 sets of twins, and then being the executive director for Moreta Zambia. And so many things. I think I've done so many other things in my personal capacity, which I not managed to say here because my CV currently is at 36 pages. So I'll not say more other than that. Thank you.
Beautiful. It's really a great thing to know, and one would be interested to know what is found in that 36 paged CV. But that is probably for another time. Let's now get to find out. You come from Moreta, Zambia, and you are all about Moreta Zambia. Your objective. What is your role? What do you do? What is Moreta Zambia?
Is a research-based organization. It's a pro-teacher civil society organization in the Ministry of Education. We are into existence based on 7 objectives that has been registered by the Registrar of Societies, which the good laws of this country has mandated Moreta to function. And with these functions, the notable ones which I must quickly say out is that we are an organization that is against the multiplicity of teacher unions in this country. As you are aware that this in the teaching fraternity, and we are saying this is not healthy. These unions need to be regulated. They need to be somebody to play oversight over their life. Otherwise, they'll continue manipulating the teachers in this country. And we thank God that the Minister of Education recommended the registration of Moreta Zambia, and hence we are registered and recognized to function in the Ministry of Education so that we can liberate the teachers from so many issues. One of the issues that we need to look at is teacher accommodation. Other things we have to look at is that we must be able to play an accountability of how unions use the resources for the teachers, because these unions do not report. They have no financial report to the teachers in this country. And that is the reason why we are saying, who is that who cannot get back to the owners of the money and fail to report honestly? Who is that person? Who is that courageous? Which organization is that? And that is why Moreta is into existence. We're also looking at the issues of tracking the budgets of government. How is the budget for the government trickling down to the teacher out there? How are they using that budget? Are the end users using the budget correctly as enshrined in the policies of the government from top there? Are they using the money correctly? Is the money overseas, which is meant for the overseas? Is the money going to the constructions, which is meant for constructions? So Moreta is actually an institution that is a watchdog in the Ministry of Education. It's a surveillance team that is providing checks and balances of both the government and the unions, including another person and the teachers themselves. And that is why we exist there.
Considering that, like you have indicated, you are a watchdog in the Ministry of Education. So how do you work in liaison with the government? Let's say this teacher union is not accountable, and is abrogating, what is expected of them. What do you do? Do you have to bite? Or do you report to the Ministry of Education? How do you work yourselves and the Ministry of Education?
Okay, first of all, we need to understand the mandate for the unions. The unions fall under the Ministry of Labor and Ministry of Labor and Security. That is where the unions fall, because that's where they are registered under Chapter 269 of the laws of Zambia. And so when they err, we rush to the Minister of Labor, that is the Labor Commissioner, who registers them, and we report the issues the way they are, because We cannot take the issues to the Minister of Education, first of all, when the unions err. Then secondly, if the unions have erred because of the multiple deductions, where they are busy deducting the teachers on their pay slips, unlawfully, then we shall run to the Minister of Education to report so that we can actually go as further as the PSMD that deals with the issues of panic issues and the deductions. And so if we find that these unions, they're in management scale, they do not qualify to be in union, and they have found themselves in the union, then we go to the Teaching Service Commission and report to say your people are abusing the rights that you have given them, and they are now abandoning the works of the ministry to rush to where there is a lot of money, which is the unions. So for us, we are actually on the border, more like on the border, where you understand that Zambia is a landlocked country, where there's Congo, there's Zimbabwe, there's Namibia, there's Malawi. So this is how Moreta is. Moreta is enjoying the privileges as registered by the laws of this country to actually work with the Labor Commissioner, the Minister of Education, the Teaching Service Commissioner, the Teaching Council, the unions themselves, and everybody. So we are actually landlocked civil society organization in the Ministry of Education.
Beautiful. And I was coming to that to ask how, you were registered, but at close of, your sentence, you said you are a civil society, under the Ministry of Education. So I take it that you are registered as, a non-governmental organization. Is that position correct?
Exactly. Under Societies Act Cap 119 of the laws of Zambia, the Register of Societies, registered duly on 19th of April 2020.
Beautiful, beautiful. Who then is, funding Moreta Zambia? How is the modus of operandi?
Very interesting question, CHAZA. This, I've been waiting for it because it's something that will interest the nation. So many people look like when people are working, they've got the funders, they've got the monies and everything. Now, I must surprise you, together with the nation, that Moreta Zambia operates on the intrinsic motivation. The teachers themselves came together and actually deemed it appropriate that Moreta should be born because there was no one who was countering the injustices that the unions were causing, and so many teachers were going into a lot of injustices, a lot of issues that the unions nowhere, and even the ministry actually, and any other stakeholders. There was no one who was asking, who was checking on them, how they are doing. So Moreta is an alternative leadership, if you call it. It's an alternative leadership. It's a watchdog. It's a research-based. It is a civil society organization which the people, the teachers themselves, do sponsor to exist. And you can be surprised that each teacher pays 100, and they want to see Moreta moving. And we don't have any funder. It will shock you that anywhere we go, no one gives us anything. This is a secret, and it is something that has shocked so many people that despite Moreta having no funds, it keeps on being there and it keeps on checking. And this is actually something unique. It is physically moved. It's a revolutionary move. It is actually a teacher-moved organization. So behind Moreta is everyone you call the man who touches the chalk, the woman who touches the chalk. That's how we survive.
That's beautiful indeed. It's a beautiful thing, and I think it's a noble cause. We've heard that teachers have complained that their voice is not strong enough because of multiplicity, something that you have talked about, multiplicity of teacher unions, dilution
Exactly.
of and so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
So far, since the time you were registered, how are you finding this cause that you are fighting for? to actually reduce or to merge the teacher unions? How is it received? What challenges or progress that you have found so far?
So far, there are no challenges because when there's something new, it is just common sense that people don't accept that new thing immediately. So we don't call that one as a challenge because when you have a vision, you actually look at where you are going and how you have prepared your vision. And so the people, no matter how they resist and no matter how they call it as a challenge, the visionary person will not actually register that one as a challenge. So what we have discovered so far is that it's not a challenge because they are just ignorant. They do not know that tomorrow will not be today. And therefore, we have given them more room to think themselves. So that at the end of the day, they should be able to see that we mean serious business and we mean serious business. So with the issues of multiplicity of teacher unionism, it's not health for government, it's not health for the teachers, it's also not health for the unions themselves. So these unions, no matter how they play gymnastics around each other and trying to do hide and seek with the issues of purification, actually it's just a matter of time. It will catch up with them. That the reality demands that you don't have to be many, you just have to be limited. And that limited, we are saying as Moreta Zambia, can you just be not more than 3 unions? And so each one of those, no matter what, the process has already started, where we are checking on them. We just had a meeting in Livingstone where we are observing their brains and their selfishness, and I can assure you that it is just a matter of time. We have already seen the will of the government. The New Dawn government doesn't want to tolerate actual division in the workforce. They want to see a leadership that is focused. And from the way the Labour Commissioner is moving, it means that there's a lot of vision and the government doesn't want to tolerate multiplicity of teacher unions. Therefore, we are able to see a lot of events unfolding, and whoever is thinking they are in a dream, we are actually praying that that dream that they think should come in reality very soon, not far, and these unions will begin to be whipped into line because there's a lot than danger, than good actually, in what they have been doing all these years. And I can tell you that there are so many teachers in this country who are being deducted unlawfully, illegally, by conniving unions and permit end users. They're being deducted 4 times. If this salary scale allows a union to be deducted at 180 kwacha, now multiply by 4, how much is going to the union? And there is no potence whatever that the unions are doing to their members. And so this is daytime criminal and it is unlawful, and this needs to be checked. And this is why Moreta is there. And if it's not checked, then we can question the laws of this country, why they are undermining, why they are leaving the unions to make people of this country regret having been aligned illegally to these unions. Where is the government? Where is the police? Where is the corruption commission? Where are all these? Let them check these unions, because there's no one who's above the law, and this is our call.
Beautiful. It's seemingly a great mandate that you have there as Moreta Zambia. Now, probably much information has been given about Moreta Zambia. Let's take a shift. We now delve into the topical issue of the day: professionalism in the teaching fraternity. First of all, I'd like to find out from you your perspective. What is professionalism generally? And we zero it in, as regards the teaching fraternity. What is professionalism generally, and also specifically in the teaching fraternity?
Okay, professionalism is doing that which is right without attaching personal emotions and interests. Professionalism, let me repeat, is serving the people without attaching your interest and your feelings. That's professionalism. And in the Ministry of Education, professionalism means surrendering yourself to the public service by delivering quality service on behalf of the citizens of this country, by producing quality results that is in agreement and in conformity with the why you have been employed. So if you have been employed as a teacher, professionalism demands that you are punctual to work. Professionalism demands that you are present at work. Professionalism means that you are responsible of your work. Professionalism means that you are able to answer what you are doing. So professionalism simply employs an individual to be very present, dedicated, that is without yourself being attached with your emotions and without being attached with actually your interest. That's professionalism.
Having defined professionalism, do we have, this aspect or this virtue in the teaching fraternity? Are teachers professional? Are they conducting themselves, professionally? Do we have this professionalism present in the teaching fraternity?
CHAZA, you are asking a philosopher. When you interview me, you're asking a philosopher. It's just like when you have your palm and your palm has 5 fingers. You tell me to say, do you have the same fingers? I'll tell you that they're not the same. But you have the same palm. Yes, you have. The same hand you have. Okay. So professionalism here, let me tell you that the teaching profession is like a palm. It is present. It's a profession. But are they the same? No, they're not the same. Even in the family, same mother, same father, you have somebody who's dark, brown, tall, short, slim, fat, same parents. So what I'm simply saying is that professionalism, yes, we have. But if it is something behind the back of professionalism, and we need to go into nitty-gritties, whether it is there or not, that's an issue of another day. But I can assure you that the Ministry of Education is profession in nature, because it is a fraternity that has created all other fraternities in the world. Every profession is born under education. No one can deny the fact, including you, who's interviewing me. You passed through school. That's professionalism. And we are proud that you're there to question the strongest teacher, who is the ED for Moreta Zambia.
Beautiful. Now, as teachers, you have indicated that a teacher who is professional, or a professional, would not have his interests, at heart, but the profession itself, the profession's, interest will be actually the one that will supersede the personal interest. Introduced, free education, and there's an outcry that the numbers in the classes are actually, swollen. They are more than expected. As a result, the teacher is supposed to toil and, probably even do that which is beyond their means, so as to actually, deliver. Do we expect them to still, impose this professionalism, and how easy is it on the side as regards, this issue? the teacher-pupil ratio?
First of all, CHAZA, I warned you again. I said when you are questioning me, I am inviting the real approach of issues. No matter how they are painful, no matter how they feel to be pricking. Actually, we are looking at the issues, the ratios. The ratios is that we have so many issues where maybe classes are populated and there's a misunderstanding. First of all, who's the employer? The employer is the government. And what is this government? The government has a vision and has actually direction. This issue is that when we have the population in classes, that is not for the teacher. That's not for the teacher to worry. The employer knows exactly why it should be like that. And so the employer who has been employed with the skills needs to be competent and actually realize that what we are doing is we need to employ techniques that actually represents quality service. That represents quality service. So this is what I just have to say, that there is no challenge on the ratio of employment, but I can assure you that issues that are difficult to handle is when one is lazy. The quality service, I can assure you, is that it is a teacher's technique. That is a teacher's technique. So let's not actually even say, no, there is so much enrollment and there is so much what and what. No, let the teachers do their best. Because the employer himself wants it that way. No one can argue with the employer. If you want to argue with the employer, then find your own company and begin to work and be a CEO there. Otherwise, the employer dictates what he wants you to do. So the teacher has no option but to do exactly what's supposed to be done. So those things which you hear that people are complaining on the enrollment, yes, it's very true, but it's not a chance, it's not a scapegoat for you to compromise on the quality, because you are being employed every month. You're being employed. I mean, your salary is coming. Your job is secured. So what else are you supposed to do? Is to work hard and find ways. By the way, do you know how many methods of teaching do we have? There are so many methods of teaching. So many methods of teaching. People are just used going to write notes, explaining, and so forth. They don't know group work. If there's group work, they are not there to control it. You find the class is not. Come on, it's the teacher to up their game, not the employer. And this I can tell you that with the teachers that are serious, you find their classes orderly, you find they attend to their classes professionally, and you find their classes are performing. While others are complaining, those who are complaining, check them. We have been able to observe. Those who are complaining, they are malingerers. We are Moreta, Restoration of Teachers Affairs. So we know exactly what we are talking about. Even our colleagues will say, no, you are too blunt. You did not defend us. No, we cannot defend the wrong. Moreta is not there to defend the wrong. Moreta is there to actually, professionalism is upheld, and actually we do the right thing. That's what Moreta is there for. That's all.
That's a beautiful thing. Now, the teachers, because I've heard you from explanation that the teacher must do his work, and doing his work is part of being a professional. That is part of professionalism. So as Moreta Zambia, if this teacher or these teachers are not actually embossing what is expected of them in terms of professionalism, what do you do as Moreta Zambia? Like you have indicated that some are failing to deliver. How do you come in to actually mitigate this issue in the fraternity?
CHAZA, to actually clear your question, I must begin by saying the words in full, what Moreta stands for, because some people will be wondering. These people, we have seen them looking at the unions, but how come they are talking about quality education and so forth? Moreta is the movement for restoration of education and teachers' affairs in Zambia. So it's a restoration of education and teachers' affairs in Zambia, meaning that we are looking at both education and teachers themselves. I just wanted CHAZA to make you understand that some people might think we are, why are they looking at issues of quality education? Why are they looking at issues of teaching? We're looking at education. It's part of Moreta's definition. And so we want to make the teachers comfortable and the listeners that Moreta means well, and it wants to promote professionalism. And at the same time, we do not want to have anyone take their rights, the rights of the teachers, and no one must manipulate them for their selfish gains. But at the same time, we are also saying that teachers must do their work. So now, when we are talking of those who do not do the work, as Moreta Zambia, we are saying that the best thing you can do is actually to do your work. Do your work, work for the government. If you are not doing your work, you reject the salary, because on the pay slip, there's where it is indicated down there that the report overpayment and underpayment. So you gauge yourself that you deserve this money or not. You just have to report. But there are very few who are Christian who want to enter the kingdom of God like me, who are able to report the overpayment because they didn't do work, or the or the underpayment because they didn't they work more than they are paid. So let's be truthful to ourselves. The inner conscience is very great, and that inner conscience must be able to provide a surety to what we do. Remember, we cannot steal from the government. Whatever we do, it should be reciprocal with the input. We must be able to say, this salary I'm receiving, yes, I worked for it. With all faculties of your brains and efforts, you must be able to say, yes, I worked for it. But now, when you stay lazy, when you don't do the right thing as employed by the government, when the sanctions begin to come to you, then you start running to Moreta. Moreta is not there to shoot the wrongs. We must be very truthful. Listen, we are not there to shoot the wrongs. Moreta is there to make sure that professionalism is upheld in the midst of education. We need to support the leadership that we have right from the school up to the president, because we are carrying out the work, the duties on behalf. And we must be able to be responsible to the pupils that we are having and be able to be answerable and account for whatever we are doing. So Moreta cannot be registered to support the wrong. For us to be registered because we are here to promote sanity. We are here to restore that which the dignity that was needed to be there. And therefore everyone must be able to look at the ministry and say, wow, this is a ministry to reckon with. This is a ministry to deal with. This is a ministry to actually rely on. So this is why we're here. So if the employees in the ministry, the teachers are not doing their best, then they are wrong. And we are able to tell them point blank, even at 12 hours, we're able to tell them face blank that you are wrong. So they cannot be able to rob the government. They cannot be able to rob Moreta itself. No, that will be an abomination. So what we are asking is that let the government do its part. These teachers have been doing a lot of things. They've been doing a lot of things, these teachers. I can assure you they've been doing a lot of things. This is now, I am now siding with the teachers after we have known that they are doing the right thing. They are now undergoing a lot of issues. They have no accommodation. They don't have decent, you know, what we can call, you know, these people are educated. There are others who have PhDs, masters. They don't have salary scales, but they are in the classroom like myself. And then we have people who have upgraded their qualifications. They are not getting the salary with their qualifications. We have people who have been acting for so long in their positions as at convenience level. They are not substantively promoted. We have so many issues. And now this is very serious. And I must tell you what, this is inviting, actually, it's inviting a repercussion worthy what the government is putting in. So if at all this teacher is not recognized, it will mean that he's going to be frustrated. And if he's frustrated, then they're not going to produce results. And don't. We have defended the government for some time, and the teachers thought we are not with them. But now I'm telling you, CHAZA, that this is a teacher who's dedicated. He's dedicated, he's professional, he's doing the best, but they are not deserving it. They're not getting what they deserve. No, that's not correct. Let the government do the right thing. Let the teachers be accommodated. Let them be upgraded. Let them be given their right salary scales. Those who are educated more, who are not in the salary scale of the government, they must be considered. Create more salary scales. If you created G, why should you fail to create J? If you created K, why should you fail to create M? And so if the salary scale was ended on M, why can't you go to L, P? In fact, I want even a salary scale that goes to Z. That's the direction we should be looking at. So let us motivate these people who are working so much so that we don't discourage them. It's discouragement that brings unproductivity. Because if they are not happy, they'll be cheating. And they'll be cheating. They'll go to work, do nothing, they are present, wait for the salary, they go back home. It's a citizen that will suffer. So what we are saying is that to avoid that, let us be reciprocal. Let us make sure that we are giving in what is coming out. I think that is the formula that we are talking about.
You have properly, highlighted quite a number of issues, quite a number of, some of which, like you have indicated, no motivation regards education, further, because they just ain't a degree. It is no so as we motivate, fraternity. What have you done? What negotiations have you put on far? They reached of education as a motivation.
CHAZA, come again at the end. You are bumping.
Okay, I'm saying I'm from explaining. You have highlighted all the teachers are facing. despite being so committed, being, and so on and so forth, into expectation and beyond. But motivation aspect, for example, in terms of they are not motivated because recognition just goes up to degree level. Masters and beyond is not recognized, salary scales. What is the government saying? Have you engaged the government? And how far has this gone? Teachers probably may be following, and they're interested, in this issue.
Thank you very much. On that issue, it borders on terms and condition of service. And anything that borders on terms and condition of service, we do not engage the government. We engage the unions. Moreta is a very professional organization that doesn't jump the gun. We recognize every institution and we know which institution to use when there is this or what. So issues of terms and condition, we pass through the unions. Now, when you look at these unions, they are very disgruntled. Let me repeat, CHAZA, they are very disgruntled. They are actually not interested in serving people. They know Moreta too well that we shall only accord them respect when they begin to do the right thing as unions. Because right now we are monitoring them tooth and nail, day and night. We are checking what they are doing. They have lost the mandate according to what they were registered by the Minister of Labor. And that's why we are saying, let the Minister of Labor wake up and check what these colleagues are doing. Otherwise, they are taking the country into shambles. If we had an effective union in this country, which is in the Ministry of Education, they should have been negotiating with the government on these real issues. They're supposed to say, okay, fine. How many degree holders do we have? Or do we have master's holders? Yes. Do we have PhD holders? Yes. Are they in class? Yes. What do we do to these in order for us to do retention? In order to retain them so that they are not able to go elsewhere. But our colleagues, they have been suffocated with air cons. The air cons have suffocated them. They have forgotten real issues. So now what we are asking them is that, can you switch off?
It appears I've lost, my guest to connectivity, and I hope he comes back right here. And those of you that are following, remember,
passing in the sun, passing in the hot.
Dr. Mbumba, and unfortunately, I had lost you. I don't know if you are getting me. We cannot hear you right now. I had lost you.
So I must repeat.
Yes, indeed.
Let me repeat, CHAZA. What I was saying is not something that is far away from my brain. What I was saying is encoded in my brain, and therefore I can remove it 70 times 70. So what we are saying is that the unions have been actually confused by the aircons. The aircons are making the unions not to function. So we want them to switch off the aircons, let them go in the field and meet the realities there. And they will tell us that they found a master's, they found a PhD, is in class, but does he or she got a salary scale? No. So as a union, what can you do for them? Now, because they are toothless, they'll do nothing. They will not even go to negotiate to government. So we are challenging them. Can you go and negotiate? That we have these people who are dedicated, who love class. Look at in other places like China. I've been to China myself. Okay? I've been to China, and I was privileged to actually study how they do. Do you know that even a PhD holder is a grade 1 teacher? For them, they are not paid by the level of the class. For them, they pay by qualification, well, at whichever level you are. Okay. So the love of the art makes you be retained to where you love to serve. And so whatever qualification you hold, you are paid whatever you are, whether at primary, whether at secondary, whether at tertiary level, you are paid. Not here. Here is, you are a certificate holder, you have to be at primary. Even when you want to love to teach primary, because the conditions are bad, you want to upgrade your paper to secondary. So those are levels that are differing, and those are levels that are making people abandon basic education to actually secondary, and then from secondary they abandon the tertiary, leaving a citizen half-baked or zero-baked at all. And that's why we have such kind of children that have no respect in the society. That's why we have these children who can even go to a school and steal phones publicly because they have no morals, because they have not been baked completely. The right people are supposed to bake them. They have left that level because they are in search of money which is into their paper. So you're supposed to pay a person equivalent to their paper, whatever they are, even at primary. Pay them, even if they have a degree. Pay them at primary. Even if at secondary, pay them there at masters. Otherwise, the way it is, you are chasing teachers. They are going to search for better, greener pastures. And now the citizens are being robbed with the skills and profession that's supposed to have the kids actually grow up in a bright manner and become responsible, and not those we saw at Kamala stealing the cell phones.
Doctor, I'm still delving on the problems, the challenges that a teacher is facing, because I'm so interested, because you have indicated, your core values. The objective of, Moreta Zambia is look into the affairs of the teacher. You also even touched an issue to do with, accommodation challenge that has been there for a long time. How are you addressing this issue, Moreta Zambia?
Thank you. At Moreta Zambia, what we are doing is that we have gone into what we call a strategic plan. We have come up with a strategic plan that is going to give us direction for the next 5 years. And this strategic plan, we have started drawing project proposals out of it. We want to see if we can knock on the doors of the private sector to help the teachers settle down and ensure that they attend to our children. Other than that, we want to see if we can work together with the Ministry of Local Government, the Ministry of Infrastructure, the Ministry of Finance, the Ministry of Education, to see if at all we are able to come up with an agreement of some well-wishers out there who are able to construct the houses for the teachers, just like the way the police officers have been given the houses. So it is our mandate. Government is so busy. Its mandate is so robust, such that they cannot manage to be everywhere. So it requires organizations like Moreta, which is a civil organization, civil society organization, to begin to liaison with the government, with other institutions, to see how we can better accommodate the teachers who have produced the presidents of this country, who have produced the lawyers of this country, who have produced the journalists of this country and so many people. How do we forget about the source? You can't draw water from Zambezi River without knowing that it's coming from Ikeling in Northwestern Province. You can't tell us that you are where you are without a teacher. This is just reasonable. This is just reality. Let's not forget where we come from. And when we don't forget where we come from, we shall carry a blessing to endeavor all these other years. But the fact that we forget where we come from, that's why we are not straight. And that's why we shall continue seeing a lot of things not moving well with us. That is traditional, that is cultural, it is philosophical, and it is spiritual. So let us be able to remember where we come from. We came from a teacher. Let everyone appreciate that.
Doc, and another challenge, probably the last one that I shall talk about, it could be, tonight, is issue to do with, very important and needed teaching. A teacher is available, and equal to the task. Environment, even in terms of materials, are not supporting the teacher. What are you doing about these issues, Moreta Zambia?
You were cutting. Are you talking about what are you talking about? The equipment? What I say?
Yes, teaching materials. The teacher is available. The environment is, not enabling. It's not supporting this teacher. And also, teaching materials are not available. What are you doing for these teachers, Moreta?
As Moreta Zambia, it's just a matter of giving moral support. It's just like you are in the stadium, you are seeing Kalushawalia playing, and you are seated. And so you see that he's about to miss the goalpost. As a supporter, you have to shout loud so that you can help the leg to bend and score. Because you see, we have what we call dire ties. Okay, CHAZA, we have what we call dire ties. These dire ties are there for every situation. Those who have done philosophy and those who have done theosophy, they can actually understand what I'm talking about. You invoke a spirit that is in support with what is happening. So as Moreta Zambia, we sympathize with the schools that have no materials, that have no proper learning environments, that have no equipment. After all, it's not the teacher's school. So this is where BP starts from. First of all, CHAZA, if you know that you can't afford, don't panic. Don't panic. This is where BP starts from. We have buried a lot of colleagues with BP who have been so much hard working on an issue which is not theirs. You see, you are merely employed. Okay, you are merely employed, and because you are merely employed, do what you can. Use other strategies. If they have failed, report through the relevant channels. If they don't support you, you'll be justified both by paperwork and by nature. Nature will justify you that you did your best. Therefore, don't worry. If there is no teaching material and you have done your best, keep on teaching theoretically. Just use verbal. Go in class, produce the message, but should not be and in tandem with what is in the book, even if the learners have no books. If you don't have, this time it's even lighter now, you don't need to do serious practicals. You can just create a practical, which is very simple, through an exercise or a homework, and record it as a practical. This time things are simple.
All right, Doc.
Economics, no, we're not giving us food. Yes.
I don't know if you're
Talk to
getting
me.
me.
What is it?
Break. Are you getting me perfectly well?
I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Very
Doc,
well.
Looking at time, I wish we could go on, beyond this, but time is not our best ally. I'd like to give you an opportunity to actually, give us your closing remark as regards, looking at.
CHAZA, I must thank you very much for this wonderful time that you have accorded Moreta Zambia. Moreta Zambia is a vulnerable organization, very vulnerable, because these unions have been existent since 1964. Others have died, others have retired, others are still there in their old age, others are young. And so when they look at Moreta Zambia, they will look at it with a spitting eye that is going nowhere. Now, let me just take this opportunity, CHAZA, that we mean serious business. Unions must be warned that the habit of manipulating teachers must come to an end. We are observing those who are conniving with PEMIC end users to effect illegal union deductions. We are observing how the brown envelopes are flying. We are observing how the unions have failed to represent the teachers. We are observing how they are giving cooked financial reports at the Labor Commission. We are observing. We are not blind. Moreta is very serious. If they don't take it serious, let's wait for nature and reality. Very soon we are closing up. And if they are shrinked into one union, they should not blame anyone, not even God. God is far away from this. Let them blame themselves for failing to listen. Let them understand that the teachers have suffered for so long in this country. Let them actually understand that they have troubled teachers for so long. They have failed to represent the teachers. They cannot invest in a progressive investments where teachers can find an umbrella for refugee. All the investments are going into their pockets. There's no union that can say, I've done this and that. They're all liars and cheating. So we are watching. So if they want peace, let them invite Moreta Zambia to the table and we'll tell them what to do. If they fail to do that, let them be an island. Nature will catch up with them. And believe me, the new Dawn government is not playing and it has no jokes. It has no relationship, it has no color, it has no height, it has no length. Very soon, we shall see. But the drama is going to unfold in this country. All those unions that you see, they are giant, they'll be caught up in the web. And they will testify before your cameras who want to. They are going to testify before your cameras to testify how the spirit of Ubuntu is actually very serious. When you abandon Ubuntu spirit, then you're on your own. And if you're on your own, you answer it. And if you answer it, you'll be responsible. And whatever follows, blame yourself and never blame your ancestors. May God bless you. This is the wonderful channel. I want to thank you forever. I can assure you that Moreta is available anytime you can call upon us. Forgive my speaking. Sometimes it's very rough because it is rough out there. It's very rough out there, and people think we are joking. And sometimes we must be very serious and blunt. But we know that God we represent is so merciful those who have been oppressed and depressed for so long in this country.
Dr. Samuel Mbumba, our guest tonight, thank you so much for actually coming to the program. We greatly appreciate, and we appreciate the fact that your arms are open, even for more right here on Ubuntu channel. This has been my point of view. My name is CHAZA right here. Listeners, viewers out there, we greatly appreciate. Till next time, we are saying God bless you all.